Hey, what's up? Hello, my name is Paige, and today I'll be showing you the 8 books that I read in May. So stay tuned. For a brief overview, these are all of them. There's a total of 2 graphic novels in this series, so if you count those as books, I do because you read them. Anyways, yes, let's get started. The first book that I read in the month of May was The Fillin Boyfriend by Casey West. Boom. This book is about a girl who gets dumped in the first night of prom, and she has this boyfriend that she has to fill in, and she meets this guy, and it goes from there. Yes, this is a cheesy YA novel, but yeah, this is the first book I finished in the month. I gave The Fillin Boyfriend a 4 out of 5 stars. Sorry for the glare on my glasses, guys. I didn't feel like not wearing glasses today and doing my hair. But anyways, the next book was a graphic novel, I Am Groot by, I have no idea who wrote this. I just said Marble. If the author or the illustrator, do you call it an illustrator or the author? I don't know. But yes, this book is about Groot and his adventures of getting lost off his ship. I loved it. It was pretty good. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I'm not a big fan of judging books, especially graphic novels, but yes, here's some artwork. Find a good one. Find a good one at the beginning because then you guys won't get spoiled. There's some artwork right there. Was The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. I really am not good with names to the point where I'm just not going to say the author's name and just show you. The Hating Game is Chelsea's from Chelsea Dolly Reads. I don't know how to link channels, but if I do, I'll link her channel somewhere. But I watch her all the time, and she recommended this book because it was her favorite book ever. And I was like, you know what? I'll just give it a chance to read. I gave this book a total of 4.5 out of 5 stars. I would have given it 5 stars if it was from his point of view. So overall, this book is about 2 people that are high up in the company of an illustrator one merges together and becomes like kind of rivalries against each other. It is a love story, hence a little love. But if I got from his point of view and actually from her point of view, like dual perspective, I would have given this a 5 stars because it seemed like she hated him the most. The main girl, Lacey, I think. I don't know. I took notes in my bullet journal. Don't remember if I spelled her name right. But if I get it from the male's perspective and actually he hated her instead of really liked her, then it would have been better. But overall, I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. All right, the next book that I read was Little Fires Everywhere by Colleen Nick. I'm not gonna pronounce that name. Little Fires Everywhere. Yes, this is my book club book of the month. We are supposed to be meeting up in the first month of June. Yes, the first weekend in June, because all of us had end of the May plans. We just couldn't hang out and talk about the book. But I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. It was a little bit different from my perspective because I'm used to reading fantasy. Like, you'll see fantasy and romance, but this type of book, not very often. But I was like, you know what, it's time to step out of your comfort zone. So I did, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I'm not going to go into too much detail because you're supposed to go into this book kind of blind, but a brief synopsis, Page, slow down. So a kind of like a cul-de-sac gets a fire at some expensive house, and it goes from different points of view of who did it and why. It's a little bit of a mystery, but it's also kind of jumps back from like different points of view, so you get introduced to the mom, and it'll jump back to her past about its relevance to maybe starting the fires and everything else like that. I would recommend it. I'm probably going to reread it, but it's nothing up my alley to the point where I want to own the book, but I might reread it. So I gave this book that I read was Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda. I give this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I would recommend it to anybody who's trying to come out to the community. This is Simon who... All right, the brief synopsis of Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda is that Simon starts an online relationship with a man. How about a boy at his school? Because this is based in high school, not a out of high school page. Come on. And he's trying to come out to his friends and his family about he's gay. And it's very hard for him. And then he's trying to meet his Suspected Person Blue. The only down the blue, and it goes from there. The only downside is I have no idea if I can remember, because it's been a while, if he actually said how long he's been talking to Blue before somebody else figured out if it was Blue. But yeah, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I would recommend it to anybody else. All right, the next book that I read, the 6th book that I read in the month of May was I said Wonder Woman. All right, guys, the next book that I read in the month of May was Wonder by J. Pakurma. Y'all know how I suck at names. But anyways, if you've seen the movie of Wonder, it is very, very close to the book. So I saw the movie Wonder a while ago, and I was like, I'm going to make this a book club book. And then nobody wanted to read it, so I was like, I'm just going to read it myself. And after Simon versus Homo Sapien, I was like, I need more kids' books. Don't know why. I hardly ever read kids' books. It's mostly fantasy. But Wonder, I gave a 5 out of 5 stars. I love the movie. I bawled through the movie. This is definitely a little different from the movie. So if you've seen the movie, it's different from the movie. If you've read the book, then you probably have already seen the movie. But it's different from the book. It's different from the movie, but I really enjoyed this book. It showed how somebody can go through life being bullied and how it's not right to be bullied and everything else like that. I felt for the child, which I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I'm sorry, guys. It's probably something easy, and I'm just like, poof. But yeah, I quite enjoyed this book a lot. All right, the next book that I read was Monument 14, the 3rd book in the trilogy. I read the first book a long time ago, like 2 years ago, and I usually read everything on audio, and I could not find this book on audio until one day I found it on audio, and I was like, bro, I'm getting it. So I listened to the book on audio, which I mostly read on audio, but that's a different story. So it follows the first book, so instead of giving you the 3rd book synopsis or what I felt about the book, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I would like the ending to be less wrapped up. Like, it was just this stuff that's happened, and then coincidence happened, and then poof, it's perfect. I'm like, no. But anyways, the first book is about a group of children that go on a bus trip, and the post-apocalyptic happens. So mostly stuff hits the fan, everything else like that. And then this virus breaks out that if you have a certain gene, I think it's like an O gene, like your blood type, not a gene, like a blood type, and then you just go crazy and murder everybody and go from there. So this one is the 3rd and final book in this series, and it wraps up pretty well. I did remember all the characters, diving back into it, but I would recommend it if you not want to keep going with the series. Okay, anyways, the 8th book that I read was probably one of my favorite books, and it was The Baker's Guide to Country Living. Guys, by Lauren Miller, I'm sorry, something Miller. I give this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I would have loved to give it a 5 stars, but the ending, I was like, really? But to give this a synopsis, this girl's a chef, a pastry chef. She was speaking culinary to me. If you guys don't know, I have a culinary degree, but she was speaking culinary to me, and she would just go into detail. But this girl, to start out with, the main character in here, I can't remember her name. I don't know what the names, people, but she sets this very expensive, place on fire with a cake that she made, and she goes to the country to visit one of her friends, and it just ensues from there. And they talk so much about pastries and cakes and pies, and it's just so good. If you are a fan of baking or pastries, read this book. If you just love, this is a standalone novel, so if you want a standalone novel, read this book. But I heard it was about baking, and I was like, bye! Because if you guys don't know, I have a degree in baking. And when someone talks about baking in a book, it either two things, makes me want to bake the same stuff or makes me hungry. But it made me bake the same stuff. All right, so that's the next one. The last and final book / graphic novel I read, I don't know why I still have this tab, is Pokemon XY. This is volume 2. Boom. This keeps going on Pokemon. This keeps going on X and Y's adventures through the first manga series. So this one goes on the same adventures to the first manga series. I have not finished this book. I have like 2 pages left, and I'm thinking about a 3 out of 5 stars. I don't know how to judge graphic novels, okay, people? If you know how to judge or grade graphic novels by star system, please let me know. Because I'm just like, cool, it was a good book. I don't know if I'm going to read it again, or a graphic novel, so I'm not going to read it again. But anyways, I'm thinking about a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's pretty good. But yeah. Alright guys, here are all the 8 books that I have started, read, and completed in the month of May. Alright guys, that's all for today. Thank you for watching my video. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below. My Goodreads link will be, or name would be down below, along with my book Instagram, which you could probably see more updates about what I'm reading better than a video. So go follow that below. Until next time, bye!